Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode, Red Flags Podcast. With my guy Seyi. How are you doing, bro?
Good man. How's everyone doing? Today's episode is basically we kind of have a tight schedule to squeeze today's show into, so don't be angry if we rush through some of our thoughts. So um,
Cool. Let's get into it.
let's just get right into it and start with Yimika's boys.
Yep. Another great victory from the Eagles. As you see, this man Saquon was the main man running through the Commanders' defense, doing what he's been doing all season long, and really showing to the Giants that they made a horrible decision by paying their quarterback Daniel Jones, who is rumored to be cut at the end of the offseason, instead of
Yeah,
paying this guy who was more or less their offense for since he got drafted into the league. Um,
honestly,
the Eagles have been better defensively. Jalen Carter has been dominant, wrecking. Um, Not necessarily like with sacks or tackles, but he's just disruptive in the backfield and causes the quarterback to hurry up. And think about the D tackle; they come through the center of the defense, making it hard for the quarterback to react or respond. So um, it's really been a dominant performance. The Our two cornerbacks that we've drafted in the first and second round have really showcased that they're ready for the league, and they've another shutdown performance from Mitchell where he I think McCord, which is their number one, I might be butchering his name, Terry McCoy or McCord
McLaurin.
from
Oh, the
McLaurin.
wideouts. Yeah,
Yeah, McLaurin for the Commanders. Their
yeah.
top wide receiver had like zero catches, 0 yards, and this was all just down to again from the front of the line. Jalen Carter just being dominant and the secondary being ruthless in terms of their coverage. Um, Jalen Hurts also had a pretty good game. Ensured that I think he had one rushing touchdown. But with him, it's just not having. I think he had one turnover, but it was really like not his fault. There are a couple of plays where they fumbled the ball and they missed field goals. So the game was a lot tighter than it needed to have been. But this game was pretty much wrapped up by the third quarter. So the Eagles keep flying, fly Eagles fly. Any thoughts from Mishi?
I mean, you pretty much covered everything from the game. Um, yeah, good game. Saquon continues to, show everyone what he's made of. Not like we didn't know anyway, but yeah. I'll keep an eye on the Eagles. I'll keep an eye on the Eagles, but you know my team in the NFC, so
They had a pretty good game too, so we can get into the
yeah,
other games.
we'll get into that later. Don't worry. Yeah. So pretty good game. Happy that the Eagles won. Commanders, Jaden Daniels. We'll get into him another day, but yeah, still his rookie season, so performances like this are expected from time to time. So yeah, that's all I'll say about him. Can move on.
I don't think he played bad. I just think, like you said, like I was saying earlier, the defense was just really dominant. They're
Of course.
beginning to showcase what a lot of people thought they had in terms of talent from last season. So it's tough to perform when you're being hurried out of your pockets every single time, and it's not really like the offensive lineman doing bad blocking, but when you just can't stop a man who is an immovable force, like it's tough.
Fair enough. I just don't think the Commanders are as good as people had initially hyped them up to be. Personally.
No, 100%, 100%. Obviously, in the skill position, they aren't that elite. They have some good
Exactly.
tight ends that are they're sure, but they're not like elite. They have one good wide receiver, but the other guys are. they're really been living off the back of Jenny Daniels. So that's why I cannot really say anything negative to him. I think this was they have been playing as good as they should be playing, and they just played a better team.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, yeah. I guess we can call it a wrap on the Eagles game from Thursday night and go into the other results from Sunday. Um, yeah. So the Packers actually beat the Bears. The Bears missed the walk-off field goal. That's my mistake. Um, the Lions beat the Jaguars 52-6. Yeah, that game, Jared Goff obviously played a better game than his last game where he had thrown 5 interceptions. He had a perfect passer rating, 4 touchdowns. Essentially, the Lions scored on every single possession they had, like touchdown, 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 field goal, and at the end of the game, they just knelt down to end the game. Basically, like those those guys are playing on another level. Like for me, it's between the Lions and the Eagles in the NFC, and I will believe it's the Eagles when I see them play and the Eagles beat the Lions. Until then, it's the Lions for me. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Um, did you watch bits of the game or
No, I actually didn't watch this game. I was watching the the Baltimore Ravens game.
yeah, had an eye on that one as well? Um, yeah, the Vikings got a win 23-13 against the Tennessee Titans. Miami Dolphins got the dub against the Las Vegas Raiders 34-19. The Rams beat the Patriots. There was an Drake made through an interception towards the end of the game to
It wasn't
essentially
his
like
fault though.
kill
It
it.
wasn't his
No, I
fault.
know. I mean,
The wide receiver
obviously,
just definitely did not turn around, which
obviously.
again was poor.
But
But yeah, so
I
quick.
thought he did pretty well during the game, and it was just quite unfortunate that the game ended the way it did. But yeah, um,
Saints win again.
Saints win again. Saints win again. Um, yeah, interesting performance from what's his name, Taysom Hill. Their tight end actually completed the pass. Yeah,
No, but he's also a quarterback.
I mean, almost everybody is a quarterback at some point in their life, right?
No, no, no. Like
You
he
find
actually played quarterback in the league for the Saints.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like a hybrid player. Like he would play quarterback and running back because he's always known as a runner, and he sort
Ah,
of stick with this tight end position because, like, he's just someone who wants to be on the pitch more or less. But he got drafted as a quarterback into this league.
well, as I said, a lot of these guys have played quarterback in their lives, but they always find your best position for you. It's the way I see it.
True.
So, yeah. Um, moving on from that, the Colts with Anthony Richardson back starting at QB got the win 28-27 against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. And at this point, I'm sure everybody has given up on Mr. Rogers. I don't think there's really any place to hide at this point. Like, and I'm not going to put it down to just him alone because I definitely feel like there is so much wrong with that team. Yimika has gone over like some of their issues with regards to like people just being like individualistic and not like putting the team first. I remember during the week, like it came out that they were showing them a presentation, the defensive guys, like they were showing them a presentation on like how to tackle, and you had Sauce Gardner coming out and saying, yeah, we know how to tackle. I didn't really like that, blah blah blah. And lo and behold, you see my man missing a tackle, a tackle he should be making, right, and leading to, them conceding points. It's just a lot to take in for New York Jets fans, and I wish them all the best as the season progresses.
They're used to taking a lot. And they're Jets fans.
Fair enough. Yeah, the Ravens and the Steelers. Hmm. Steelers managed to win 18-16 against the Ravens without scoring a touchdown. And yes, people will say referees this, referees that. Yes, there was a clear offensive pass interference where George Pickens still ended up catching the ball and wasn't called. And some other missed calls like that. But I wouldn't say that's why the Ravens lost that game. Like Lamar played probably as bad as I've seen him play this season. I'm not sure which performance was between this and the game against the Browns, but to me they lost in similar fashion in that Derrick Henry had only 13 carries the whole game, and I don't know, games that the Ravens have lost this season. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. You realize that the number of carries that Derrick Henry has is like restricted at the end of those games. I don't know. I don't know what's up with the play calling, Todd Monken.
But to be honest, their Harry just wasn't breaking runs. I think is it Hill, Taysom Hill, or their second running back. I know it's
Justice
Hill,
Hill.
Justice
Justice Hill.
Hill. He was the one actually making a lot of good runs and breaking. I think there was a situation where Lamar threw the ball to him and he was supposed to catch it on like a wheel route, and the defender actually put his hand in there and sort of on coming down ripped it through, and that was the interception. So there are a lot of missed opportunities from the Raven side of things, and I think we also talked about some missed field goals, things like that. So,
Back to back.
which is kind of weird from Justin Tucker, one of the most consistent kickers in the league for quite a bit. But if you do all of those with a rival like the Steelers are with the Ravens, that's enough leeway room for them to get the W, and that's what the Steelers did. They just played a. I think Mike Tomlin said it going into halftime where it was like we just need to keep
But they didn't
winning
they
each
didn't they
play.
didn't convert any of their red zone possessions. Like, so I mean, for all the people saying, oh, the Ravens had missed this, missed that, the Steelers also had missed opportunities to actually score, right? I mean, there was the there was the interception in the end zone from
Yeah,
Russ Wilson. So I mean, it goes both ways. I just generally don't think the Ravens played as well as you would expect them to. And for me, if they can't win games like this, come playoff time, we're going to hear the same story again. And I don't know. There's time to clean it up. I won't write them off just yet. But yeah, we'll see. Do you have
Broncos smashed.
anything else to add?
No, no, no. I was going to go on. I had to talk about the Broncos smashing the Falcons. I think the Falcons
Yeah,
have lost again. Um,
that's a low key rookie of the year contender in Bonix. Was, yeah, I mean, all the hype is with Jaden Daniels, but I mean, like, he has just casually been impressing, right? In the few games that I've seen, he has been
yeah,
quite
he's
impressive.
solid and
Yeah,
a good quarterback. I mean, Sean Payton drafted him because they knew the type of quarterback he was. So that's a good matchup for both of them, or
yeah.
say matchup, a good situation for both of them. The Seahawks went ahead and Gino with the walk off touchdown, running touchdown to
Bro,
win the game.
honestly, that guy, that guy's back must be paining him. Like, carrying the whole of Seattle on his back. He's a strong man. I was impressed. I was impressed. I didn't think he had it in him. I
49ers
was,
are just, I think to me, they've clearly shown that this is not their year. They
bro.
definitely did not start well. And I keep pointing at this similar theme. You know, you have the 49ers, you have Dallas, you have the Jets, all these teams that were doing a lot of drama with their top players in terms of paying them. You know, it comes back to bite the
Hmm.
team because you don't have that consistency and to build up the rapport. I mean, Ayuk had like a crazy season last season. He got finally got paid, and now it's kind of like he's duped the 49ers because Baba
He's
has
out.
not shown up.
He's out.
No, I'm saying he's out, but it's more about even when he's there, he hasn't shown up.
I mean, like
Debo hasn't
even
really shown up.
him being out might, like, some would argue that's even due to like him not like practicing with the team in the off season.
Yeah, getting your condition right, getting your body right.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot to win a Super Bowl, so you can't be trying to fight with your team and also hope to be dominant in terms of these other teams that are looking to grow and build from the momentum they had from last season. So it's just another disappointment.
Fair enough. Um, yeah, we'll come back to the Chiefs game. The Bengals lost 34-27 to the Chargers.
Again,
Yeah, this game was like, I watched the whole game and it was just electric. Like, Justin Herbert played proper ball. Like, so did so did Joe Burrow through parts of the game. The Bengals really did not start well, and before they knew it, they found themselves down 27-6, and some way somehow the defense woke up and just kept giving the ball back to Burrow, and the Bengals kept scoring, and they were able to tie the game and at 27-0, and after that couldn't find a way to score. And I really don't know what it was with kickers this past week, but yeah, at 27-0, Bengals miss a field goal, Chargers get the ball, go down the field and score, and yeah, that's the game. I don't know.
again,
Have
another team that had a lot of issues off the season, both their
bruh.
wide receivers. So I don't know. I see it as a consistent theme. And fortunately, the Eagles have never really had that kind of scenario with um, players dragging on in terms of wanting to get paid. I think the last
Yeah, they
person
will
that
just
wanted to
trade
have
him.
that issue,
They will just
yeah,
trade him.
was Hassan Reddick. We got rid of him. Darius Slay had a moment where he was talking about he wanted to get more money, but we sorted that situation out. We don't let them drag on too long because for us, it's like the harmony of the organization is more important than any individual. We will rather get rid of you and replace and go through the teething process of getting somebody new into that position, but we don't
Yeah,
have you within the organization built like sort of making just negative vibes and spoiling like the rapport that everybody's just trying to build. So I think that's a really important thing about sports overall, but it's even more important in football where every single game matters. And if you don't have that consistency of performance, then there's no turning back.
yeah, fair enough. So I guess we can move on to the um Bills game. Um, yeah, the Chiefs finally lose. The Chiefs are now 9-1 for the season, and yes, I'm one of the happiest people alive that the Chiefs have finally lost. Yeah, Josh Allen is a dog. Like, deserves to be the guy on this graphic, and yeah, we'll show the play before we move on from the NFL. But yeah, um, as always, Chiefs defense didn't give up a lot of easy scores, but I don't know. The It was between the 1 and 2 seed in the AFC, and the game didn't disappoint. Like both teams have played pretty well this season. The Chiefs haven't played as well as we know they can, right? But they kept finding ways to win. But I guess this game was just one game too many for them. Um, yeah. After the Bills scored their last touchdown, um, and Mahomes like got the ball, there was a call on Jawan Taylor for holding, which I was surprised to see the refs call. I mean, I'm joking, but yeah, they finally got him. They finally got him, is what I'll say. So yeah, happy for Allen and Bills. Happy to see the Chiefs lose. I don't know, Yimika.
My own is just the regular season. Let's see what the Bills do in the postseason because they
Yes,
always seem to be hot in the regular season or showcase that they have the potential to be hot, but always fall short. So happy for Allen. He's definitely one of those underrated contenders for MVP, and yeah, we'll see what they can do. Let's see those. That's his walk off touchdown.
yeah.
So yeah, fourth and second, end of the play, breaks through the
Barrios
defense.
with these last two guys, like, ah, man.
Michelle and I were having this conversation where he was saying he thinks Allen is the strongest quarterback in the league. Do you want to play the other
Yeah,
view?
the
And
angle.
I mentioned that I don't think he might be the strongest. He might be up there because I think Jalen Hurts is probably the strongest quarterback. But when it comes to toughness and just grit, I would say he's number one. And the debate was what's the difference between these two. I think my understanding of strongest is the ability to one like move people, like your power with like your legs and just general like not being able to be brought down and things like that. And whereas toughness is more like your a combination of that and your mental fortitude, your ability to sort of push to score, push to ensure the play continues on. There are many times when they're hurt. I'm like, bro, like you have the strength to actually throw this guy off, but he's also conscious about, he doesn't want to get hurt. Allen plays with reckless abandonment. He doesn't care. He doesn't care at all whether he's going to dislocate his shoulder or break
He's a
his neck.
dog. He is a dog. That's the word you're looking for, bro. Like, he's just a beast.
Yeah, he
Well,
definitely has good qualities that of a leader too. So, and that's also
yes.
important.
I mean, to be fair, their new number one guy came up with some big plays, and what the
Who's
Shakir guy,
that?
Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper,
Okay.
Amari
Okay.
Cooper. So yeah, congrats to the Bills, finally knocked off the Chiefs from their nonsense high horse. Anyway, moving on
Good
to
week in the NFL.
moving on from the NFL and into week 12 of college football. Um, yeah, Ohio State, number two Ohio State beat Northwestern 31-7. Texas Longhorns beat Arkansas 20-10. Colorado robbed the Utah Utes 49-24. Um, Alabama dispatched easily of Mercer 52-7. Ashton Ginty and Boise State 42-21 against San Jose State.
And three
Oregon,
touchdowns for him.
yeah, another video game performance, like always. Yeah, definitely going to New York for that Heisman ceremony. Um, Oregon beats Wisconsin 16-13 in a close game. BYU lost finally this season, um, losing to
Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah, yeah,
Poor.
surprising. I mean, boss play Kansas next. Hopefully, they don't carry that ginger into the next game. But yeah, game of the week was in the SEC. Georgia beating Tennessee. at home, 31-17. Yeah, pretty good game. Tennessee started well. Like they didn't seem like they were going to roll over, but after getting the lead back 17-14, like they couldn't muster up any offense. Like Georgia just like completely took over the game after that. And yes, I know I've been quite harsh on Carson Beck. He showed he showed me a side of his game that I did not think he had. Like showed his athleticism, like using his legs a lot, and obviously like making big plays like on offense. And yeah, deserved win for Georgia, beating number 7 Tennessee, and we expect Georgia to move up by the time the new CFB rankings come out tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know. Yimika, did you catch any games or?
No, not this week. Wasn't a lot of interesting games for me. I was kind of even shocked that Tennessee is ranked seventh based on how they've won played beforehand and the couple of losses they've had. So I think definitely these couple of BYU losing, Georgia winning is going to sort of reshuffle this top 10, and it'll
Yeah,
be good to see the final um, rankings for. I think next week there are a couple of more exciting games. So yeah, I'll
yeah,
tune in a little bit more for those.
for sure. So yeah, I guess we can move on to the NBA now.
Yep.
Um,
NBA is right now they're in their mid-season tournament. So a couple of like they have teams in groups or divisions, and you sort of play all the teams within the divisions to seed yourself in the rankings, and then they build a bracket based on those groups. And like a bracket, you just play head to head, and the winner gets I think 500,000 each player. So
yeah,
it's money incentivized. They have like different uniforms that they showcase. The court changes where it's like a little bit more graphic focused, and yeah, it's really
yeah,
nice. You should check it out. But these games still count towards your overall record, so it's kind of making the long season feel like a little bit more special within this time period. Christmas is also a big, or leading up to Christmas is a big period for the NBA where they have a couple of competitive games.
yeah,
So yeah, just a little bit of background. Our Cleveland Cavaliers continue to dominate in the league, the only undefeated team right now. Um, and again, we still have the main guys continue to perform on that same level, just highlighting their field goal and 3 points percentage being above 40, and just playing team ball. Still have your guys Mobley and Allen with 18 average points. I think Mobley is one of the guys that I was watching some plays of him specifically where they're using him or the coach, their new coach. Sorry, this is also the first head coach to come in with so many wins because their coach is new.
yeah,
Um, he's using Mobley as like a point forward. So Mobley is their power forward who is like about 6'10", lanky kind of guy, and he's the one bringing up the ball down the court, calling the plays, and having guys like Spider in the corner and Gatlin, who is the point guard, sort of in positions where they can continue to shoot these high percentage 3 point shots. He also has the ability to drive down the paint and make some easy layups with his athleticism, Euro step vibes, and in essence, they're just doing really good. They're dominating. They're confusing offenses. I mean defenses because they have so many weapons, and Lavert still coming off the bench. So they're really poised to want to make a deep run in the playoffs. We want to see how long they can sustain this high level of performance. Sometimes when
yeah,
you get that first loss, you do have a dip in momentum. So just want to see how they respond from that loss and how they, because it's inevitable. I don't think any team has gone undefeated in the NBA ever before. So, or if
yeah,
they do push it, that would be an interesting run to watch. Maybe we'll just have them consistently as a top performer But yeah,
Yeah,
they've like I said, they've played pretty good games. Recently beat the Sixers, the Bulls, and the Hornets. So we'll continue to track them, and if they're still undefeated, trust and believe they will be highlighted here on this show.
yeah, for sure.
So usually we have two top team performing teams, but this time I think we're going to keep it to just one performing and one underperforming team. I think going into the season, the Sixers were seen as this new force in the East with Paul George signing on and Maxi getting his max contract, sort of justifying that he is now a top tier player. Maxi has performed to the level of the money that he's received.
Yeah,
He, I mean, his 3 point percentage is maybe a little bit laxed because he was shooting a lot and he was having to be a main contributor when George and Embiid were out for quite some time. George has
yeah,
come in his typical manner, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. This isn't a strong George performance, but it's just like putting numbers across the board. That's him as a player and also being a key defensive stopper. But obviously not fully healthy. His shooting percentage is not high. I don't know what he's shooting at three, but it's definitely not high.
yeah,
And the highlight here is that we don't have a picture of Embiid here because he hasn't played enough games for us to even really say this is how he's trending. He's had some suspensions based on the way they're managing his injury and wanting to limit him during the regular season. And
and the issue with the reporter, I think.
yeah, and I think this could even backfire against the Sixers because right now they're second worst team in the
In the
East.
East. Yeah,
So they're managing this guy's his games, but they might not make it to the playoffs because they're underperforming so much so that there's no potential for them to move forward down the road. So one team to look at and see if they're able to turn it around. I think there was a potential shout to Dallas as another team that's struggling because they went to
yeah,
the conference finals, but they're still 6-7, which is again putting them in a similar position in the West based on how competitive that conference is. But at the same time, we still feel that they have, the ability to turn things around. Um, Doncic is not shooting efficiently right now, and I think he's someone that usually turns up the gear post the All Star game. So we'll watch out for to see if there's a swing of momentum for that team.
for sure.
I think
So,
what we decided to do this time was rather than focusing on teams, focusing on players to see who are lighting it up and basically doing a lot of incredible things in the league so far. Two shout outs that didn't make this list currently, just based on the timeline of when this their games were being highlighted. Jokic and Carl Anthony Towns. Towns had a 46 point game.
imagine not
And
mentioning AD. Well, it's fine. It's fine.
yeah, I mean AD like that was the start of the season. We have another representative
Bro,
from
he
his
dropped
team.
40 in what game this past week? What do you mean?
Yeah, okay. There's one player that has 40 that's on this list, but the only reason why he's on this list is context wise. And the person who is on AD's team did a little bit more, something more fantastic. So the point is, it's tough to
Yes.
get into this list. I mean, Jokic is averaging a triple double in terms of points, assists, and rebounds in his
Rebounds.
stat line, but he's not on this list. Um, yeah, so we'll start with number five. Nothing. We all need heroes in our life.
Oh, please.
Unfortunately, Tyler wasn't a hero in this game where he put up 40 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals. The Heat still lost to the Pistons, which was their first game in the playing tournament, and that was due to an erroneous timeout called by their head coach Spolster. So it was made a technical foul, and they shot that technical foul, and that was the end of the game. because it was at the end of the clock. They did capitulate towards the end to allow the Pistons come back, but he was doing this without Jimmy Butler, the main key player, being active right now. He's hurt. Bam hasn't really come out pretty well this season. I think he's averaging like 15 points and 9 rebounds. When Bam should easily be a 2010, easily be a 2010 player. 20 points and 10 rebounds, possibly even five assists. But yeah, he's definitely stepping up and showcasing that he's someone that we need to focus on as a key anchor for the Heat going forward. Number 4, we have obviously the Greek Freak. Potentially could have been higher compared to who's number 3, but 59 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks. This was also against the Pistons. They did win that game. But overall, the records we've seen them featured a couple of times, Milwaukee, as one of the struggling teams. So I think that also knocked off some of the points from his ranking. And although it's phenomenal performances, and that's one of the key things I highlighted, he's always playing well, doing good things, but it's just, does it translate to wins? Number 3, now we start to get impressive and crazy. So 50 points against 59. It seems like it's less, but we have a 7-2 power forward center making 8 threes in a game. And some of these threes were 2-3 inches behind the arc, like deep range, some Curry-like range. Very impressive, showcasing that he's working on his total game. Everybody knows Wembanyama is one of the most skilled players in the league, but it's just him being consistent and putting all these ability into a set of packages that he can display on a game-to-game basis and truly dominate. And I think if you look at Jokic, similar guy when he came into the league, a lot of talent, a lot of skill, but he figured out ways to get buckets and get those buckets easily. And I think Wemby's he's starting to figure that out by showcasing his wide array of talent. 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. Again, 6 rebounds for me from Wemby is just it's criminal. Like less than 10 is criminal for somebody who is 6'2", his wingspan, criminal. But
hardly
you have
even
to
has to jump.
exactly. But we have to appreciate those 8 threes as very unique for a big man and very impressive for someone who's only in his second year in the league.
Yeah.
Now, if we go to number 2, De'Aaron Fox, one of the most underrated players I think in this league. When he was being drafted, like a lot of hype around him, and he's lived up to the hype. I think he's going into his final year of his contract, and he's bet on himself to showcase that he has that consistency of play, and he's looking to be one of those players to break that 300 plus $1 million contract. So we had Tatum, we had Brown, who recently got it, but De'Aaron Fox is chasing it, and I think he's trying to chase a higher figure because the cap is supposed to explode again next season with the new deal that the NBA signed. What did he do? So in 2 games, he scored 109 points. The first game, 60 points against the Timberwolves, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. Then he followed that up with a 49 points, 9 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals against the blanking on who they played. I think it was
Was it Utah?
Yeah, it was Utah. So showcasing that he can do it against top teams, and unfortunately he lost the game against the Timberwolves, the 60-point game, but still put up a show and then won that 49-point game against Utah. And then number 1, again, I represented your Lakers.
Legos. I don't care about Lakers. This is what I care about. Please.
The King had to showcase that he's still royalty in this league, and I mentioned Jokic having triple double in stats across the season. LeBron had 4 consecutive triple doubles with 4 victories to
Yeah,
back that. And over here, we see the stat line averaging 22.5 points, 13.75 assists, and 12.5 rebounds. I mean, just ridiculous numbers from this guy at age 40, like literally carrying the team on his back. I mean, AD is definitely someone who is representing this season, but this is the reason why the Lakers will continue to be relevant because this guy is still playing at a MVP caliber level. To me, I think this is the only player to ever do this in the league, like 4 consecutive triple doubles. Although the streak has been broken because the last game they still won, but
yeah,
he didn't record another triple double. Um, LeBron has just showcased that he's the true fine wine in the NBA. The only one that's as he's aged has continued to become as good as anybody would imagine. His 3 point shot is ridiculous at this point in time. When he came into the league, he barely could do that. He was just all about dunking and driving. His post up game has become something unguardable. That was one of the things that he had to learn while he was a Miami Heat player. And now he's just wrapping all these skills into, again, what is the best tasting wine in the league? King James, number one.
Lagos.
So again, if there was any performance that you felt should have been on this list, maybe I was a little bit biased with Tyler. Again, we've got to represent my Heat somehow.
I didn't want to say anything, but we'll allow it. We'll allow it.
Yeah. It's just again just showcasing you guys all the things that goes on in the league, and I did drop a little bit of nugget in terms of the new TV right deal that is going to be one of the highest. The salary cap is also going to increase to make these guys one of. I mean, the NBA players are the highest paid sportsmen in, at least in America, but I think they
Yeah,
would be up there in the world because it's a 12-man roster or 15-man roster, but you have crazy money to spread between them, and the top players just really they get the most of it. So um, you'll see some crazy contracts starting next season because this new deal comes into play, and
yeah,
yeah, should be a good time.
definitely, definitely look forward to that. Yeah, so I think this is a good place to call it on the latest episode of Red Flags. Thank you guys for listening as always, and yeah, just keep listening, keep sharing your thoughts. We appreciate all the engagement that we're getting, and yeah, we'll continue to bring you guys the content you
For,
love. So
Forgot to mention that the only reason why we didn't cover um, soccer this week was because we were on international break, and
yeah,
in our alliance with the number of irrelevant games that we have across the season, we will not be
yes,
covering such
we are
such
behind. We are behind
inconsequential.
Rodri and Gudoan and
we will
everyone that
not
wants to
be
complain.
we will not be covering such inconsequential games. We will only bring to
Yeah.
you guys the key games and what's most important. So yeah, like Shay said, just continue to let us know what you like, what you don't like, and we'll continue to deliver.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Bye.